So I'm sure every guitar player is familiar with the Ebow. Gives you that string sustaining, cool, ethereal sound that a lot of people have used over the years in recordings. Today I'm going to kind of dissect one and just give a brief overview of how the thing works. If you're curious like me, you like to look inside of things, see how they work, how they're made, and that kind of thing. Well, we're going to dissect an Ebow today and kind of show you what's going on inside. So this is the box for the Ebow Plus, which has the harmonic switch in it, and I don't know how old this box is, but it says cassette lesson included, so maybe it's like 20 years old, I don't know. Now the person that dissected this Ebow sent it to me after they picked it apart, and I picked it apart a little bit more. So this is the one that's all together, perfectly functioning. The dissected one that wasn't working is here. But before I go into all that, I'm going to show you the U.S. patent here. U.S. patent number 4,075,922, granted in February 28th of 1978. And here it shows you a basic schematic, and on the next page, next couple of pages here, it describes a little bit about how it works. Here you go. Okay, so basically, if the string is plucked, causing it to vibrate, its movement will be sensed by the input coil. Since its movement causes the magnetic field associated with the coil, the input coil, to change, thereby reducing or inducing a current in that coil. The electrical signal generated within coil is amplified by the operational amplifier and produces a varying magnetic field of the same frequency in the output driver coil. So the magnetic field of the output driver coil drives the string at its resonant frequency, thereby sustaining the vibration of the string. If the string is not, let's get this in better view. If the string is immediately plucked after the sustainer is in place, the sustainer, because of positive feedback, will cause the string to vibrate. So basically, what this does is it utilizes feedback sustain in a controlled manner. And before we get to that, I was going to show you the schematic. So this is basically the schematic of the Ebow. So here you have the input coil. It goes into so this is what senses the string. When you pluck the string, it's sensing it through the input coil, which it has an Alnico 5 core, and that gets amplified by an LM386 audio amplifier. Has a gain of approximately 200 or 46 dB, and then it has basically the output coil, which is the driver. Before I looked up the schematic online, people were assuming it was 8 ohms. It turned out that it is 8 ohms. It also has an Alnico 5 core. The mode switch here simply reverses the direction of the current through the driver coil, which causes it to have more, it's more like an acoustic feedback in this configuration. And it's kind of a quirk that they discovered, I guess, in the development of the thing, that if you reverse the current through the coil, it gives you like a harmonic, kind of like throws in these harmonics in there. So now, here is the Ebow case. It's actually 4 pieces of plastic. You have the bottom part, and then you have the battery cover, and then 2 halves which come apart. The one half houses the switch, and that connects to this printed circuit board, which would be normally encased in what I believe is like a two-part polyurethane. It's kind of like this white stuff, hard white stuff. And the person before me had tried to pick this apart, and I picked it apart a little bit more, discovered it has an op amp. It's got two electrolytic caps and one tiny little cap here, 1N914 diode, a couple of small resistors and caps. All that stuff's fully detailed in the patent documents, and of course has a little LED to let you know that your power's on. Now, the driver and input coils look like this. Here is one of the coils. It just looks kind of like a little magnet, basically. If you're to pull that apart, what you have inside is you have a magnetic ring. I guess it's ferrite or something, I'm not sure. And then you have these windings that look like they're about 42 gauge wire, and that's also potted in this white plasticky stuff, and that fits inside this ring. And then in the middle of it you have what I think is a rare earth magnet that goes inside, and then this piece goes on the top. So I don't know if these are the same windings exactly or what, but they basically are constructed the same way. But you'll notice one of the little rings is slightly taller than the other. So, and I don't remember which one was which, but basically one is the driver coil, one's the input coil. So there you have the guts of an Ebow. I think it's a pretty cleverly designed piece of equipment. It must have been, they must have went through a lot of iterations to figure out what's the best shape ergonomically and, you know, practical. What's the most practical way of using it and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's kind of interesting. I always like to see how things are made, how they're put together and designed, and the thought processes that went into it. You know, so just 4 little simple pieces of molded plastic, a little bit of electronics in whatever kind of goop this is, and you glue it together and you have an Ebow. Now I'm just going to show you a picture of what the inside looked like when the guy took it apart. Just have to find it. Here we go. So the inside of it basically looked like this. It was just covered in this white kind of cream colored goo, and you could see where the 2 coils were, and the 2 coils themselves are right here. The one coil, I'm sorry, with the top removed. So as you can see, the person that took it apart initially had fun trying to pick it apart. If one of mine ever does go bad, I'm going to go ahead and dissect it, but I'm going to use like dental picks and stuff, and I'm going to really carefully get all this goo off of there so that we can see exactly what it looks like before they put the goo on it. Anyways, just thought you might be interested to see what the inside of an Ebow looks like. And I hope you appreciated my little dissection of the thing. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.